There is a small wooden bowl on my kitchen counter. In it is a snack that costs less than $1, and it settles my 14-year-old grandson faster than any lecture I have ever tried. Here is the strange part. The reason it works has almost nothing to do with what most parents believe is wrong with their teenager. So why would a handful of little dried fish do more for a slamming door and a shouting match than any punishment ever could? Let me put you in my kitchen on a Tuesday. It is 3:15. The bus has just dropped my grandson at the corner. I hear the front door open. I do not hear hello. I hear the door slam so hard the window rattles. Then his bedroom door slams. Then silence. The kind of silence that has a temper in it. His mother, my daughter, stands in the kitchen with her hands full of nothing, not knowing what she did. She did nothing. That is the part that breaks her heart. She walks on eggshells in her own home. She lowers her voice. She asks one small question and gets a wall. And by dinner, he is fine again, laughing even. And she is left shaking, wondering who that person was an hour ago and where her boy went. If you have a teenager, you know this hour. The 4 o'clock hour. The one where a sweet child turns into a storm cloud for no reason you can name, and then turns back and leaves you standing there. My name is Kenji Nakamura. I am 71 years old. I grew up in a fishing town on the coast of Japan, where the whole street smelled of the sea, and of green tea, and of something quietly fermenting in a crock in every kitchen. I raised 2 children of my own. Now I help my daughter raise hers. And I will tell you the truth about myself, because it matters. I got it wrong for years. When my own son was 15, he was moody and sharp. He slammed doors. He snapped at his mother. And I did what my own father would have done. I called it attitude. I called it disrespect. I raised my voice. I took things away. I sat him down for long talks about the man he ought to be. And every single thing I tried made it worse. The angrier I got, the angrier he got. I thought I was failing as a father. I thought he was simply a difficult boy. It was my mother, an old woman by then, visiting from Japan, who watched all this for 3 days and said one quiet thing to me at the sink. She did not talk about respect. She looked in my cupboard, at the sweet drinks and the bright bags of chips and the candy, and she said, "You feed him like this, and you are surprised he cannot hold himself steady. Fix the bowl before you fix the boy." I did not understand her yet, but I am going to explain exactly what she meant and exactly what to put in the bowl, in the order I learned it. Quick word before I go further. The old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. So I started with the food, because it was the one thing I could change without a fight. I did not announce it, I did not make it a lesson, I just changed what sat in the bowl on the counter and what sat in the door of the refrigerator. And within about 2 weeks, something happened that I did not expect. The 4 o'clock storm got smaller. Not gone, smaller, shorter. He came home, he ate what was in the bowl because it was there and he was hungry, and the shouting that used to come at 4 came less often and quieter, and some days did not come at all. I want to be careful here because I am an old man, not a doctor. But I have now watched this 3 times. With my son, with my daughter who was a thunderstorm at 16, and with my grandson today. 3 children. The same simple change. The same result. And when I finally learned why it works, it made me a little angry that no one told me 40 years ago. Because here is the question that turns this whole thing around. What if the storm at 4 o'clock is not your teenager's character at all? What if it is not hormones, not attitude, not you? What if it is something that happened in his blood about 90 minutes before he walked through the door? And what if you could stop it with what you hand him after school? Let me tell you what is really going on. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Your teenager gets out of school. He is tired and hungry, and his brain has been working all day. And what does he reach for? The bright bag, the sweet drink, the candy. The energy drink with more sugar in it than a slice of cake. He eats it fast, on the walk home or on the bus, and his blood sugar shoots straight up like a rocket. For about 20 minutes he feels good. Then his body panics at how high the sugar went, and it dumps a flood of insulin to pull it back down. And it overshoots. The blood sugar does not come back to normal. It crashes below normal. Now here is the part nobody explains. When the blood sugar crashes, the body thinks it is in danger, so it fires off stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, the same chemicals your body makes when a car nearly hits you. That flood of stress hormones is the anger, it is the shaking, it is the tears over nothing. It is the wall he throws up when his mother asks one gentle question. He is not choosing it. His body is doing it to him. And then, to fix the crash, his brain screams for more sugar. So he does it again, and the loop closes and starts over. Spike, crash, rage, crave, spike again. You cannot discipline a blood sugar crash. You cannot reason with it. You cannot ground it or lecture it out of the room. I tried for years. It does not work, because the child in front of you is not really in the driver's seat in that moment. His fuel is. Now understand something about the teenage brain, because it makes this worse. A teenager's brain is still being built. It is one of the hungriest things in nature. It burns through fuel faster than an adult brain, and it is far more sensitive to these swings. When the fuel goes wild, the mood goes wild. And there is one more thing. A big part of that growing brain is built out of a fat called omega-3, the kind found in oily fish. Most teenagers today eat almost none of it. Doctors in a field they now call nutritional psychiatry have spent years studying this, and the pattern keeps showing up. The lower a young person's omega-3, the rougher the moods tend to run. You are asking a brain to stay calm while you starve it of the very thing it is trying to build itself from. So here is the trap, and here is why I got angry. The bright bag and the sweet drink are not an accident. They are engineered. The crash is not a flaw in the product. The crash is the product. The crash is what sells the next bag. A whole industry makes its money on a child who spikes and crashes and comes back for more. And the answer everyone offers costs money too. The apps, the supplements, sometimes even doctors, when a steadier snack would have done half the work for free. Now hear the part that reframes everything. The Japanese snacks I grew up on were never invented as mood food. Nobody in my town thought about moods at all. They were just what we ate. But every one of them happens to be built the exact opposite way from that bright bag. Protein, minerals, slow fuel, fermented things, omega-3 from the sea. They do not spike the blood sugar, so they never crash it. There is no rocket, so there is no fall. The secret is not that these snacks add something magic. The secret is that they refuse to start the fire in the first place. It is not mood food, it is steady food. And a steady teenager is a different human being than a crashing one. So here is what goes in the bowl. 7 of them, in order. Cheap, simple, and you can start this afternoon. The first is edamame. Those are young green soybeans, still in the pod, the ones you squeeze into your mouth. A bag lives in my freezer at all times, about $3. You boil them for 5 minutes, drop a little salt on them, and put them in the bowl warm. Here is the trick most people miss. It is not only the food, it is the shape of it. Edamame carries protein and a mineral called magnesium, which the nervous system uses to stay calm. And the protein flattens the blood sugar, so there is no spike. But the pods slow him down. He has to work for each bite. A bag of chips is gone in 90 seconds. A bowl of edamame takes 15 minutes to eat, and by the end of it, the worst of the storm has passed on its own. The second is small, oily fish, not a fancy fillet, the little ones. In Japan, we eat niboshi, tiny dried sardines you crunch whole, and grilled mackerel we call saba. A can of mackerel from any shop costs $1 or $2. This is your omega-3, the fat that brain is starving for. The trick is exactly this. Skip the expensive salmon fillet. The cheap little oily fish carry more omega-3 per bite than almost anything, for pocket change. 2 servings a week is the amount the studies point to. 2. The third is roasted seaweed. Those thin, dark green sheets sold in little snack packs for about $1. More minerals, more magnesium, more iodine. The trick is that this is your straight swap for the potato chip. It crunches, it is salty. It is a snack a teenager will actually eat without a word from you. Put the seaweed pack where the chips used to be and say nothing. The fourth is green tea, and this one is quiet magic. Green tea carries a thing called L-theanine, an amino acid that puts the brain into a calm, alert state. Not sleepy, calm and clear. Monks drank it for 1,000 years before anyone had a word for why. The trick is to make it cold. Put green tea leaves or a couple of bags in a jar of water in the fridge overnight. Cold water pulls out more of the calming part and less of the bitter part, so it tastes smooth, and a teenager will drink it. In the evening, use a roasted kind we call hojicha, which has almost no caffeine. The fifth is a fermented food, and this is the one that works underneath everything. A warm cup of miso soup. Miso is fermented soybean paste, about $5 for a tub that lasts months. Stir a spoon of it into hot water. Your gut is full of tiny living bacteria, and those bacteria help make the very chemicals that steady the mood. Fermented foods feed the good ones. The trick is to start with miso soup, not the stronger stuff, because it is warm and gentle and easy, and it is the doorway to the rest. The sixth is the baked sweet potato. We call it satsumaimo. Bake a few on the weekend and keep them in the fridge. This is the sweet craving answered honestly. It tastes like dessert, but the sugar in it comes out slow, over an hour, so there is no spike and no crash. Here is the trick worth writing down. Eat it cold. When a cooked sweet potato cools in the fridge, the starch changes into a form that feeds those good gut bacteria even better than warm. Cold sweet potato is a better snack than hot. Almost nobody knows that. And the seventh is the one that ties them all together, the rice ball. Onigiri, a palm of cooked rice, pressed around a little center of that oily fish, or a salted plum, wrapped in a sheet of that seaweed. This is the after-school snack in one hand. Slow rice for steady fuel, fish for the brain, seaweed for the minerals. You hand him this at the door instead of a lecture, and you have fed the whole problem at once. Make a few in the morning. Leave them in the fridge. That is the trick. The steady snack has to be easier to grab than the bright bag, or the bright bag wins. Now let me step back, because this is bigger than one bowl. Think about the money first. A daily energy drink and a bag of chips runs a family more than $50 a month. Every month, forever. A bag of frozen edamame, a can of fish, a pack of seaweed, a tub of miso, a few sweet potatoes, some rice. Cheaper, and it lasts. You are not buying a moment of quiet. You are buying a habit that will steady that child long after he leaves your house. Then, think about the health of it. And here I have to be honest with you, more honest than the title of this video. Food is one lever. It is a real one. But it is not the only one. If your teenager is sad, most days for weeks, if he pulls away from everything he once loved, if he cannot sleep or sleeps all day, if he ever tells you he does not want to be here, then you close this video and you go sit with him. And you call your doctor. No bowl of food fixes that, and it would be a cruel thing for me to pretend otherwise. What I am talking about is the everyday storm, the 4 o'clock rage, the Sunday gloom, the snap over nothing. That is the part food steadies, and for most families, most days, that is most of it. And then think about the thing that matters more than any of it, which is what happens between the two of you. For years I stood on the other side of a slammed door, the enemy, the man with the raised voice. And the day I stopped trying to lecture the storm and started handing him a bowl instead, something healed that I did not know was broken. He did not have to fight me, because I was not fighting him. I was just feeding him. My mother knew this in one look at my cupboard, and it took me 20 years to understand her. You cannot reason with a hungry brain. Feed it first. And when you do, you will very often find that the child you were looking for was there the whole time, underneath the crash, waiting for the storm to pass. So here is what I want you to do tonight. Do not overhaul anything. Do not make a speech. Just move one thing. Take the bright bag off the shelf where he reaches after school and put a bowl of warm edamame there instead, with a little salt. That is all. One swap. Watch the 4 o'clock hour this week and see if it does not soften, even a little. Then tell me in the comments where you live and what your 4 o'clock hour looks like right now. Tell me if you try the bowl. I read every one of them, and I answer the ones I can. The folks in my old town already know all of this. I am telling it to the ones who were never taught. Next time, I am going to show you the one drink my mother made every single morning before school. 3 ingredients, no sugar, and it did more for how we sat still and behaved in a classroom than any cereal ever sold in a bright box. Until then, feed them steady and watch the child come back to you.